Right, I think I'm going to start with my presentation. So first and foremost, thank you everyone for joining this session. My name is Zain. I'm Head of International for the Chartered Management Institute, CMI. I've been at CMI now for 10 and a half years now. I know I don't look old, so time has been kind to me. But since my tenure, I've been in a number of positions. I started as a junior business development manager, and now this is my third head of role. And as head of international, what we're looking to do is increase our international presence globally. And that mainly starts with higher education institutes and working with them in partnership so that we can make graduates better managers and leaders early on in their careers, and making sure that they're equipped with the best employability skills moving forward. So I'm just going to now share my presentation. Just bear with me, and I think that will give it a little bit more context. Oh, I have to share my screen there. Oh, that's the wrong one. On the here we go. I'm just going to take it to the top, and let me just present. Can you guys see my screen? Because now it's kicked me out of the chat. So Mai, I don't know if you can just unmute yourself and just say you can see the screen.
Yes, we can see.
Yes, you can see the screen. All right, lovely. Right, so my presentation is going to be about my journey through to leadership, and hopefully there'll be some really good advice I can share with you guys. So first, a little bit about CMI. We're the only chartered body in the management and leadership profession. Our vision is to have better led and better managed organizations, and we do that by increasing the number and standard of professionally qualified managers. Again, we lead the way when it comes to accrediting degrees in higher education. So we work with about 140 UK universities out of 160. And globally, we are now increasing our university presence. So for example, we work with about 18 universities in Malaysia alone. We are looking at Africa, and at the moment, Nigeria seems to be a point of interest. So hopefully we'll start working with some Nigerian universities there as well. In Egypt, we have a few centers that deliver CMI qualifications. And again, we do work with some other Middle Eastern universities, mainly in Bahrain and the Gulf region. We have in our professional community about over 160,000 members, of which 90,000 are students on management programs. And this is all about lifelong learning. Progressing yourself, doing your studies just doesn't stop at university. Again, when you go into your careers, you are constantly learning. And we work with over 700 university and education partners globally. And CMI recently got Investors in People's platinum status, and we were one of the top 100 companies to work for in the Times survey that they did. So again, we're really proud of that. It's a good place to work for CMI, and maybe in the future, some of you may want to be involved in our organization in some shape or form. So this is just a snapshot of kind of like our partnerships. We work with over 150 employers. I think that figure is more closer to 200. Again, 510 approved education partners, mainly private training providers and colleges. Here we've got over 140 university partners. And as I mentioned before, we've got about 160,000 members. And this slide here just gives you a little bit more context in terms of, our global reach. So again, we have partners in these countries, but we also have established regional boards in Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, and Sri Lanka. 11% of our CMI membership community is from international members, which is over 16,000 students. That's what it equates to. Right. So I'm just going to make this a bit smaller, and I just want to go back to my screen here. Sorry, I just want to ask people. Sorry, let me just go back in here. I take it most of you guys are in jobs, and obviously, I just want a raise of hands if that is correct. Are most of the people here in the audience working at the moment, or are they looking for the next job? If you guys could just put that in the chat room, it'll be just interesting to gauge. I've got yes here, working, good. Okay, excellent. So now we can see that a lot of the students here are working, which is great. Okay, fantastic. Sorry, let me just go back to my share screen here now. Oh, someone's just started their own food and beverages company. Well done, and congratulations on starting your business. So I'm just going to go back to my screen here in a minute. I don't know what I'm doing here. It should be here. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so let me just go back into my presentation and let me go to this slide screen here. Right, so this is about knowing yourself. Now, this normally would apply, when I do this presentation, would apply to graduates, but because you guys are already in work, this still is very applicable, okay? Because at some point in your careers, you will want to jump up to the next promotion. You may be overlooked. You might be thinking, my job's not really taking me where I want to be. Or you may have started a business and you're not really getting the kind of traction that you're expecting. So knowing yourself is very important because you really need to understand what is it that drives you? What drives you to wake up the next day out of bed? Yeah, what is it? Is it money? Is it, that, you're working in something that you're very passionate and you're making a difference? There's a lot of different variables for different people. People are motivated by different things. And I think it's really important to understand that because for myself, and I'm just going to be very honest with you, the reason when I joined CMI was to make money. I wanted to be fairly well off. I wanted to also work in a place that was making a difference because that is very important to me. So I had two motivating factors here. But I know that I had to look in with myself and really realize what are my strong points, my strengths, and also where I was slightly weak on. And early in my career, I used to really focus on trying to correct some of my weaknesses, when really that shouldn't be the case. You should really be focusing on your strengths. So for myself, it was about, I have a knack of building relationships very well. And I also have a knack of, around business, how to conversate with different partners and with different key decision makers from a number of seniority levels. So that was really my core strength. And when I started at CMI, again, I was trying to look at, well, I'm weak on this and I'm weak on that. Maybe I should improve on that. I really would advise you to really focus on the strengths that you have, because ultimately that is what's going to make you shine through. If you spend too much time fixing up your weaknesses, you will be in danger of not really giving that attention to what you're really good at. And again, this is something, you may be in a department, you may be working in finance, and you might actually say, actually, I don't really like what I'm doing here. I don't really like analyzing data. I don't really like, accounting, for example. So really, it's having that frank conversation with you. And some of you may be working and you may be enjoying it, which is all well and good. But for those who are in a job and it's just not motivated, or it just doesn't quite hit the mark, it's probably because your job role isn't really aligned to your strengths. Okay. Another thing as well, when I started CMI about 10 and a half years ago, I was late 20s, I'm in my late 20s. Yeah. And I was kind of like looking at myself and I was thinking to myself, hey, you know what? I'm coming to this organization. I came in as a junior business development manager, and there were a lot of challenges. Number one, I was the only second person of color in my organization, believe it or not. Now, I'm not saying my organization was racist, far from it, but it can be quite daunting when you're the only person of color in an organization. I had to really, work with the relationships internally. So I went around, I got to know departments. I really made myself, kind of like visible in that sense. But for me, it was an exercise of understanding how other departments worked and how they worked with each other. That really helped my learning about the company I was working for, but also how the departments would communicate with each other and why they were needed for each other. And then I could join the dots up. So it was really building up that internal knowledge. And in turn, it really gave me that confidence. So I always will say, believe in yourself. You guys can achieve whatever you want if you really put your mind to it. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And it's that pure conviction and that pure belief that I had when I started 10.5 years ago, that I was going to really make a name of myself in this organization. Remember, I was a junior business development manager, and I had very, very small knowledge about, the management consultancy sector, the education sector, zero, or how professional bodies operated. And the other thing as well is be self-aware. And this is a really key skill to have, because if you are not self-aware, you will not know how others perceive you. Now in life, I know that there's that common phrases, don't care what other people think. That's fine. I'm not asking about what other people think. This is in a career context. So it does matter how your CEO will view you, how your director may see how you come across with your clients. There's a lot in self-awareness, and you really have to be reflective. You've got to be very critical about how you are and how you come across and what areas you can use to improve. Now, if you are going to go for a promotion in your job, where you're working, then you really have to ask yourself, how do other people perceive me? Does my manager think I'm worth a promotion? And if not, why not? Again, it's really to get good to get that collective feedback. We call it 360, not just from people who may manage you, but from also other people from other departments. And I will also say one other thing here. It is really, really important, especially when I started my career, to really shadow and learn of positions that you're looking to apply for in the future. So for me, it would be, senior managers. When I first started, I wanted to become a senior, not a junior BDM. I want to become a senior. So it was kind of like involving myself. I even went one step ahead and I started, conversating with heads of and really getting into their heads and, understanding how they approached their role and what was involved. It gives you a better idea of what you want to, what you're looking to get into and whether you like it or not. Okay, so the challenges ahead, right? So like I said to you, here I was, this 30-year-old guy that had just came in, and it was kind of like, right, I was, like I said, surrounded by, this organization. I think at that time it was about 145 people, and I was a new guy, but again, for me, it was really making sure that I quickly build up those relationships and made sure that, I was visible. I would also like to say that, when I started, there were some people that I came across, not so much internally, but externally, some clients. I have suffered from, passive racism. And in the beginning, it kind of got me down, but I realized with experience that, I shouldn't, and I shouldn't waste my time on people like them. So again, don't surround yourself with negative energy. You are going to come across people who may put you down, who may not see the potential that you have. Don't cut them out. Just cut them out. Okay. There's no point in surrounding yourself with that type of negative energy. Climbing the ladder. Now, this is again goes to the promotion, right? So here I am. I'm an Asian man. My background is my mom's from India, my dad's from Iran. I was born here in the UK, right? So I've got this melting pot of different origins, and I thought I'm going to be looked, I'm going to be in an organization, because previously people had looked past me because maybe of the skin, the color of my skin, or I didn't fit the profile. So I was hoping that this organization was different, and it sure was. But in order for me to give myself the best opportunity, the best shot, I had to make sure that I did a number of things. So I got myself a CMI qualification. I did a CMI Level 5 diploma. And I did that while I was working and while I was trying to have a social life. It's hard, it hurts, but you know what? It's worth the pain. I'm also a chartered manager and I'm also a fellow. And now I did this because it boosts up my recognition internally as well as externally. But my main aim was to get that promotion. The other thing is, I also wanted to get involved in other projects, which were kind of like interdepartment. And you know what? So it might not necessarily be from my department. It might be from the marketing department, or it might be from the finance department. But I got myself involved in projects so that other people saw me. And this comes back to the whole point about being visible. The more visible you are, the more people will notice you and the more recognition you'll get, especially if you've done a good piece of work. A lot of hard work goes into climbing that ladder and making sure that you're documenting what you've done. So when it comes to PDRs and appraisals, I was very forthright in making sure that my manager had documented my achievements, but also what my ambitions were, and making sure that there was a clear career path for me to achieve that. Okay, this is about planning for the future and not for tomorrow. Okay, I think when I was at university, I was one of those people that was just planning day by day, but that doesn't really going to get you by in life. Okay, and as I entered the world of work, I realized that, you know what, without a defined plan, then I'm going to be kind of a bit lost in where I want to go, where I want to achieve. So there are goals, and what are goals? You'll have short term, medium term, and long term. And if I said to you guys, I want to become CEO in the next 2 months as a short term goal, I have to be honest with myself and see how realistic is that. So again, your goals have to be defined as short term, medium term, and long term, but they also have to have some realism in there as well. Okay. But it's good to have them there because it is, once you have your goals, this is what I need to do in the short run. This is what I need to do in the medium term. And this is exactly what I want to achieve long term. And if you do your short term and medium term goals, if you meet them, then automatically you will arrive at your long term goals and hopefully fulfilling them. Another thing I will say as well, which is really, really important, is manage yourself and your money, right? Because, when you're in a job, you want to move to that next level. It's really making sure that you're making the best use of yourself. Now, if you're working long hours with very little output, the reason is because, you're not just working smart enough. You're not organized. You may be, distracted by a few other things. So again, managing yourself so that you're not working yourself to death for very little recognition, but you're getting that kind of work-life balance. Very important. You have to have a healthy mind and a healthy body to get the maximum and optimum level of performance from yourself. I truly believe that. And it means, COVID lockdowns. When I was, and even now, I'm not in the office. I'm working here at home. The landscape has changed massively, right? I used to go out on client visits every other day. Now I'm here, stuck in my house, and the 2 kids crying in the background. So, but I know it's very important for my health that I get regular exercise. So at lunch, I make sure I always go for a walk. I have my weights in my office. So if I get any time, I'll start using them, because you have to invest in yourself, and investing in yourself is investing in your health. A healthy you is going to be a more productive you, to put it plainly. Again, I've said, make a plan, stick to it, and make it work. It's easier said than done. You have to have a plan that's realistic. You have to have a plan that has certain measures in it. You have to make sure you're disciplined enough to stick with that plan. And if you get some setbacks, then you want to make sure that you can overcome those setbacks and make that plan work. And every plan is not as rigid as it can be. They evolve and they change over time. So again, make sure that your plan is fluid, that, if this doesn't work out, then you have a contingency in hand. Or There may be a world event that happens that may change your plans. It's okay. It can happen. Right. So this is for those who are bidding entrepreneurs or already owning their own businesses. So I know that someone posted up there that they own their own food and beverages company, which is really, I'm really, really happy, because I really applaud people for starting up their own businesses. It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of gusto to do that. So for those people that are looking to, you know, do business, become self-employed, run their own thing, these are some golden rules I would like to tell you. And again, I've run a few businesses before I joined CMI, when I was younger. And these are kind of the golden rules that really helped me. And if someone could come back to the 21, 22-year-old me and slap me across the face and tell me some golden rules, this is exactly what I'd want them to say to me. So when you're building up a business, and let's say you're generating some money, let's say it's going really well, rather than penny pinch, what you should do is, for your business to truly grow, you need to recruit. Because those people that you recruit, whether it's an admin person, whether it's a project manager, they'll be able to take off or offload some of the work that you're currently being involved in, which then allows you to concentrate on maybe developing the business or looking at the next big project or securing a tender, right? So again, recruit when you can. Don't think, oh, I've got to spend a bit of money to for someone to work in my company. No, you got to recruit, and recruit well. You know, like as they say, people make the business. Okay, so again, that'll be my first golden rule. The second one is, don't get bogged down in too many processes. There's a lot of automation tools out there. Whether it be HubSpot or another software tool, there's a lot of automated tools out there which you can use, which can then lessen the workload, right? Again, we look at recruitment, and there's a lot of AST tools out there which tracks candidates. It's a really nice database which recruitment firms use. It cuts out a lot of work for them, so they can then concentrate on, getting the right kind of candidates on board, but also the right kind of clients to then hopefully fill in vacancies that they may have. Another thing that happened to me in the past, I used to run an accident management company. So when people used to get involved in an accident here in the UK, we would provide them with a car hire, and also we would deal with their personal injury, because here in the UK, should be. I was giving up 50% of revenue that I generated, and they had very little input in. And in the end, it kind of stung me, because all of this money was going to the fellow directors who had very little input to that side of the business. And again, you always have to think big. You may hear it time and time again, but you know what? If you don't think big, you're not really thinking, right? So, make sure, your ambitions are big. But again, as I've said before, make sure you have that plan to execute it. So those are my golden rules for budding entrepreneurs. So look, my concluding thoughts from this presentation, and then I'll just show you some online tools from CMI that might be able to help you. Here are my concluding thoughts. Plan effectively, right? We talked about that. Making sure you have a realistic plan, making sure that plan is fluid, and making sure that, you're disciplined enough to stick to it and see it through. Manage yourself and the resources around you. So if you're on a job and you're looking to progress, the most important thing that you want to achieve in the short run, I told you about those goals: short-term goals, medium-term goals, long-term goals. That will allow you to prioritize what you need to get where you need to get to. Work-life balance, again, this goes all about managing yourself, making sure that you have a healthy mind, a healthy body, because that will get the most out of you. I've seen people, friends of mine, I used to do it before. I used to wake up 7 o'clock, be in work at 8, finish at 8, come back, and I might do the night out, and I'd be shattered. I'd be shattered. The next day, I'm like a zombie, right? There's no use in that. So again, work-life balance. And I would say to people that, you know what, having a regular and consistent lifestyle might be a bit boring for some people, but believe you me, yeah, it will help you not just now, but also for the future. And again, you're never the finished article. I'm not the finished article. There's a lot. Learning is lifelong learning, and that is why with this partnership with Nexford, you are going to come out with a CMI certificate of recognition, but you also will have these resources, which I'm going to show you, which you can use to continually improve yourself. So you may want to know how to have a difficult conversation with someone you might be managing. Again, we have information on that. Or you might want to know what are the steps that I need to take in order to project manage effectively. And again, we have resources around that as well. So that is kind of like the presentation. I'm just going to stop sharing. And I'm just going to ask, is there any questions at this moment before I show you what CMI can give you as part of your membership? Okay, so there we go. I'm just wondering, can you give a brief info about CMI and the course's duration of mode assessment, costs and benefits? Thanks. Okay, I will do that in a second. What opportunities does CMI have for MBA student, or how can an MBA student draw values from CMI? Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'll answer those questions, but I think what you'll also see for yourself is how we can help you in terms of, the values that you speak of, and the opportunities as well. So let me present, and then you can keep coming with the questions, because I'll come back to that at the end. Okay, so again, I'm going to share my screen again. That's the one, and then I'm going to do that, and then can you see this? Mike, can you just tell me if you can see the website? Mike, can you hear me? I don't know if Mike's still there. Okay, I'm assuming that people can see this. Okay, right. So this is our membership website. You, as a member, because all of you will be members, will have access to a range of resources that we are offering to you. So the first one is Management Direct. So for an MBA student, you're studying, you want some information to help you through your studies, this is the place, okay? And there's another resource, which is purely on your career, which I'm just going to show you in a second, all right? So this is Management Direct, available 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can access it through your computer, your iPad, even your telephone, as long as you've got one of those later models, yeah? So even through your mobile phone. Now, we have, obviously a range of topics within management, leadership, and business here. But if I was to look at change, right, and managing change, this is the kind of content types that come out. And what we do in Management Direct is we put in practical content underpinned by academic theory. So I'll give you an example. We have 26 leader videos. They're called leader videos because these are from directors, CEOs, inspirational people about, how to manage change correctly and how to avoid managing change badly. And again, each video is 5 minutes or less, but very rich in content because these are from very experienced people. Okay, so worth listening to and watching. Okay, so these are the videos. Then we've got the business models on change. So again, here we go. Up it comes, right? Okay, and then we also have things like, checklists. Now, these are your do's and don'ts for the most popular management tasks. So if I'm looking at motivating your team in a time of change, and I open that checklist, this is what happens. An introduction, a definition, and then my action checklist. What do I do as a manager to motivate my team in a time of change? To find out about motivational theory and practice, be aware of your importance as a role as a manager, and it tells you how to do that. Think about what motivates you and others. and so forth and so on. So that's just kind of like Management Direct. And then if I just show you the content, other pieces of content that we have on here, we've got research summaries. Here at CMI, we have a research and policy department. Every year we come out with 3 to 6 research summaries on thought leadership. They're all stored on here. We have over 10,000 company profile reports, again, worldwide. You can access them here. And look at this. You have over 9,000 ebooks. I don't think you'll be able to read all 9,000, by the way, but you can download the majority of them. I think about 80% of them. So if you were looking at, for example, entrepreneurship, right? And I just want to look at the books under entrepreneurship. There's 589. And can you see that? I can download them, most of them, the majority of them. Right? So a lot of content for you guys as part of your membership, which I'm sure you'll be very happy about. And then the Career Development Center. So this is for, most of you guys are working. So for you, if you're looking to go for a promotion, and I've done that a number of times here at CMI, it's really about, making sure you've got a good cover letter. So again, it tells you how to do that. Interviewing, again, you may think you're really good at interviews, but it doesn't harm you to actually go through a few of our tests, training, and assessments that we've got here. We also have self-development tools, and also how to develop your leadership skills. But you know what really is interesting is we actually not only, help improve your career and employability skills, we also show you where the jobs are. So I know most of you guys are in work, but if you were thinking of a move, or if you're out of work, and by the way, this job database gives you current live vacancies for over 50 countries. So if I put in project manager, and let's just say I put Nigeria, for example, yeah, in a minute, just get that right. Let's say Lagos. There we go. Find jobs, right? So there are 679 jobs, live vacancies. And this one was posted on 21st of September, so they might have been filled in. This one was only a few weeks ago, 11th of November. And you just scroll in. Oh, this one was yesterday, experienced project manager role. And again, you'd click on there, look through it, and apply. How good is that? And then, last but not least, oops, sorry, I'm just jumping the gun there. We also have an online mentoring service where you can register as a mentee or a mentor. If you register as a mentee, you create your own profile and you match yourself up to three mentors you can. And we have about 1,300 mentors on our database. And again, all that mentoring happens online, okay? It can happen face-to-face. So we may have a mentor, for example, we might have one in Nigeria. They may live very close to where you're living. And then you can do all of that mentoring face-to-face. So again, this is just like a quick whiz through the online resources that you have by being a CMI member. Remember, you come out with that certificate of recognition afterwards, but we have a lot of information here to not help you just through your studies, but also to help you through your jobs and hopefully land yourself that promotion that you're looking for. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and I'm just going to come back here. Do people like the resources? Do they like what they see? I just would like a quick yes, and then I'll come to the questions, or no, you might not like the resources, I don't know. So, and I hope what I presented was helpful to you guys. So it would just be good to get people's thoughts, whether they thought that, the resources would be helpful for them, as well as the presentation. So I'll just wait for people to put that in the chat box. And I'll have also, we've got some comments here. Very good. Hello, Kalechi. Okay, thank you. Excellent. I'm really glad that a lot of people here liked it, which is good. So I think we're on Q&A now. So, oh gosh, there's a lot of questions here. Right, I'm gonna have to scroll all the way to the top. Okay. Okay, so we're looking here about CMI. So when you get your certificate of recognition, you can look at doing a CMI qualification. We do have approved centers around the world. You just have to go to our website and look at the closest approved center to you. So at the moment, through this partnership, you're getting a certificate of recognition, but you can then top that up to a qualification, whether it be a CMI level 5 or level 7. It's up to you, but there is an opportunity to do that. The cost is dependent on the center. Again, I don't really want to go into the costs there because you'll have to ask the center, the provider, what they're charging, because they all charge different. But again, you can progress to do a CMI qualification. And in fact, if you don't want to do a CMI qualification, you can actually progress to become a chartered manager. Now, a chartered manager has got an assessment where you would have to do a written statement about your impact at your organization that you've had in the last 18 months. And if assessed successfully, you become chartered manager and you have the post-nominal CMGR behind your name. But also you become part of the elite network of chartered managers, where we do have face-to-face as well as online events catered. Great for networking, by the way. So there's that question answered there from the brief info about CMI and the courses that we do. I would say also in terms of the duration mode, CMI award, which is 1 unit, would probably take you about a few weeks to do, a certificate a few months, and a diploma between 6 to 9 months. That's kind of like what the timeline is for that. What opportunity does CMI have for MBA student? Well, I've already shown you through resources what kind of opportunities are available or what you can access. In terms of our values, we believe in being very progressive, passionate, and professional. Again, a lot of the information and content that we have online will be useful and it embodies our values that we have. Please, can we have this presentation after the meeting? I think, yes, we can give it to everyone. I'm pretty sure we can. Not a problem. What I'll do is I'll send it to Mai and then Mai will send it over to you guys. So hopefully that will be... are we to write exams to get certified in CMI? No, we don't do exams. They're just assignments, okay? But remember, through this partnership with Nexford, you don't have to do anything. You will automatically get a certificate of recognition as long as you pass your MBA. I think if you want to top up afterwards, then you've got to start looking at, yes, you know what, if I'm going to do a CMI qualification, then I will need to do my assignments. So it's an assignment based and not exams. As an MBA student from Nexford, oh gosh, there's more questions are flying in, so it's just bringing this good. As an MBA student from Nexford, am I still required to? Yeah, no, I've answered that one there. Okay. Good question from Rashida Hussein. What about BBA students? Well, the answer to that is I am in conversations with Nexford to include BBA students. So watch this space and hopefully we'll get the PBA recognized. My ideal vision is to have the MBA and BBA accredited by CMI. So right now it's been endorsed, but through accreditation, it would mean that instead of getting a certificate of recognition, you'd get a CMI qualification automatically. Now, that is what we do with other universities. Nexford is a new relationship for us. So in the future, we are looking to get those qualifications as part of your degrees that you study. And the good news is that you wouldn't have to do any extra assessment. You'd automatically come out with it as long as you pass your degrees. Everyone's putting these comments. Does CMI have yearly or monthly subscription? Is there a possibility of getting permanent subscription without having to renew yearly? Linus, it all depends how much money you've got, right? So I guess, if you want to give yourself or pay, 4 years in advance, 5 years in advance is fine. We do it normally, it's a yearly subscription. There is an opportunity to do it monthly or by month. But yeah, again, anything longer, I think that's something that you would need to discuss with us, but we're open to suggestions. How long does it take to become a chartered manager? What a lovely question from James. That's a very good question. So for me, I went through the fast track route because I had the CMI qualification. So there's different routes. So for me, it took me about, in one sitting, about 3 hours to actually do the to answer the questions, and then to get it processed and stuff, a couple of weeks. But for the written submission, which most of you guys will be, I would probably say give it a good month, because you guys are busy people, man. And it all depends on how quickly you can do that written submission. If you can do that written submission and you like writing and you can do it within a day or two, then you probably could get chartered within a week or so. But because we would then need to assess it and come back to you. So I'd probably say a couple of weeks at the very minimum. And then I think on average, probably about a month. What is the cost of membership? It depends on different grades. So here at CMI, you have affiliate membership, which is what you guys are, studying members. Then you have a standard member, and then you become a fellow. Roughly around about the £220 mark, and then it goes upwards. But again, through Nexford, we can start looking at offering discounted membership rates once you finish your MBA. I think that's certainly worth discussing. And again, obviously, I know times are hard at the moment with the pandemic. Money's tight. So we will try and see if we can do something through Nexford that when you finish, we can give you a kind of a discounted membership. There you go. It's $185 if you register via Nexford. It can cost, yeah, 200 upwards. That's absolutely correct. Thank you for that. As an MBA student of Nexford, what does it take to become a member of CMI? Well, I think most of you guys have already got what it takes because you're at that level. You're at MBA level, okay? There are different gradings. So for a standard member, you would have had to be in work for, I think it's a minimum of between 3 to 5 years. That's what we consider to look at standard memberships. Also involved in, you would look at your role, what you've been involved in, what kind of duties you've undertaken. Again, each applicant will be different to the next, but for us, it's really having those 3 to 5 years management experience in there before you become member. Fellow is actually 11 years management experience, of which 3 has to be strategic management experience to become a fellow. So those are the different grades, and there are different kind of like, criteria that you need to fulfill. Okay, is there any other, what is the process for getting chartered manager certification? So what I would say to you guys is go onto our website, www.managers.org.uk, click on chartered under the membership tab, and it will tell you exactly what you need to do to apply for chartered manager. But there are different routes. Most of you would be applicable for the qualified route, which is the written route. There is 2 options actually under the qualified route. Either you do a piece of writing, or you can do a professional discussion. So if you don't want to do a written assessment, you can do a professional discussion where you're chatting to one of our assessors, and they are taking taking everything down that you say, and then it gets externally assessed. And if you pass, you become a chartered. Again, that is a qualified route. Most of you guys will be applicable because all of you will be MBA graduates. So again, that's it. Now, if you're not doing an MBA and you don't have a management qualification, we do have another route. It's called the experiential route, where you may have management experience, but not the management qualifications. And again, that is a different process and different criteria that's needed for that. So I hope that answers that question. How do I get access to the CMI assignment to become a standing member? Right, I want to make this very clear. Assignments are for CMI qualifications, okay? When you go to become a chartered manager or you want to become a member, the chartered manager has its own assessment, which I just explained. But to become a CMI member, all we would have to look is at your CV, and then we would decide what membership grade you would be on. So when I started CMI, I went from associate grade to member, and then obviously now to fellow. I've had fellow for a number of years now, but that's exactly what it is. So you don't need to do any assignments to be a CMI member. You would just need to send your CV to our membership team through our website, and they would be able to look at your experience and then grade you. Any more questions? Please, I finish in a few months. If I pay for membership, what benefit am I entitled? So the benefits that you're entitled to are everything that I've shown you, right? So you have the resources, Management Direct, Careers Development Center, the online coaching and mentoring, but also you will have access to our events, our webinars, and other networking sessions that we may have for our members. So again, there's a lot that membership gives you, not just the resources, but also the webinars, the networking sessions, and the events that happen. Yes, you are able to apply for CMI membership with Nexford. I would really implore you guys to chat with or your success advisor to get some more information about that. For interested people who are not doing the MBA, can they register themselves with CMI? Well, yes, you can, but again, it would have to be direct. So they'll have to come to us directly. But when they come to us directly, we don't deliver CMI qualifications. It would be through our approved centers. So on our website, we have an approved center finder where you type in your address and it will tell you which is the closest approved center that delivers CMI. No worries, Tululup, for coming late, but you did miss out on a lot. But I will be sharing this presentation, so just ask your success advisor for that presentation. Okay, so how would the CMI accreditation improve the status of my Nexford qualification? Right, very good question, actually. I like that question. You guys are doing an MBA through Nexford, which is fantastic. Right? And that in itself will raise you and your profile. But having a chartered management qualification or even certification behind you will make you stand out even more. Now, I interview a lot of people because I hire people a lot, right? It's part of my role as being a head of international. And I'll tell you one thing, if I was to interview two people and both had MBAs, but one was associated to a professional body in management leadership, and they had a qualification or the certification to prove that they've been involved with a chartered body, it would be more likely that I'd recruit that person because it gives that person that extra edge. So there is certainly value in this. And also, I told you, it's lifelong learning. How would you not want to use the resources I showed you to improve yourselves as better managers and leaders would be beyond me. There's just so much for you guys to gain from being a member of CMI, let alone the qualifications, because the qualifications speak volumes to employers themselves. And remember, we work with over 200 employers. Some of them are multinational, international companies, right? Global, Siemens, PwC, we work with them all. So how do you know that the person recruiting you isn't a chartered manager themselves? So if you're chartered and they're chartered, great conversation starter, right? So again, it always helps. It always helps. And in a very competitive industry that we are right now in, having that CMI badging on your resume will work wonders. Do we get a certificate of membership when we apply through Nexford? So when you go through Nexford, you get the certificate of recognition saying that you've been on an MBA, which has been recognized by CMI. But when you become a member, you'll get an email saying, well, this is your membership, this is your membership number, and this is your grade, right? So I hope that answers that question as well. Yes, I'm sure you could probably get a recorded version of this session. I hope you can anyway. And again, Nexford has just posted the link there on the chats there, a bit more about CMI and the partnership that we have with Nexford. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yes, there is. Okay, now that's again a message from Nexford. Okay, I think that brings me to a close, unless anyone has any last questions that they want to fire at me. I've got another minute or so. And if not, what I will say is that, you guys, this is my message to you is I wish you luck wherever you are in the world. Again, we are facing some very difficult and challenging times at the moment with this pandemic. I honestly believe it's a time for self-reflection. I do think that as people, we've been very busy, and what this pandemic has allowed us to do is spend more time at home, spend more time with our families, our friends, and really give us a bit more time to self-reflect and see how we can improve ourselves as individuals. Again, the economic climate, it's changing. Hopefully, we can get back on track again very soon. But for you to get back on track and for you to improve yourself in your careers, the best way to do that is by that lifelong learning that I was talking to you about, and being associated to a professional body like CMI, where you can benefit from all the resources which can help improve your employability skills, as well as your knowledge and skills within your management professions. So again, I really wish you guys all the best of luck. Here from UK London, very cold UK London as well, I may add. And it's been a real pleasure speaking with you all. Thank you for your time, and God bless and good luck.